Pro wrestling is the world of high-flying, acrobatic, crowd-pleasing, ground-shaking, human versus human matches. And everybody says, "Oh, that's fake." Oh yeah? Watch this. See, a little bit ago, I met up with a pro wrestler called Jack the Vet Vaughn.
You're a lot taller than I expected.
I get that.
And he taught me some moves. Moves that I'm gonna use for real. And we're gonna see if they work or not.
It's not fake, but like we have to be athletes. We have to be entertainers, performers, talkers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more that goes into it than just, you know, the in-ring stuff.
Yeah, we're just gonna ignore all the other stuff though. We're just gonna focus on the in-ring stuff for now. After I watched the vet do his thing and come away with a victory, we traveled to his buddy Jake Omen's place, where he would show me the ropes. And he showed me a bunch of moves that, along with the ropes. The ropes are cool though.
Most basic moves, you don't get a choice on those. You've got to know the 101 behind that, right?
So we started off pretty basic.
Yeah, let's go with that hip toss.
The first move being like the earliest takedown you learn.
Give him a good base. So he's gonna grab me right there. That's where he's posting, and then he uses that to propel himself off, and I'm kind of just guiding him over.
It's gonna be very difficult for me to throw somebody by the arm, but I'll try.
Everything I've done, the person doesn't get to say.
Right.
That's it.
That is the easiest I've ever taken someone down, and that felt phenomenal. This hip toss is the first thing we're gonna learn in the grappling department. Stuff like takedowns, transitions. We'll then move on to striking, which is basically I hit people, and then we'll finish it with submissions. But for now, my grappling needs work. The next technique being the clinch, which guess what? All Muay Thai guys do, so that's easy enough to implement.
We can see someone lock up and know if they're a good wrestler or not.
Gotcha.
We then transition that into a headlock, and then that into a headlock
Getting
takedown.
real small.
Then we moved on to the big boy, the body slam.
Next, let's go body slam.
Body slam?
Body
Okay.
slam.
Put the arm over. We grab underneath here.
This isn't really a grip that I'm used to. The idea of lifting a man up and pretty much over your head seems very difficult, and it is, but less so because of this post hand. See, that's what's keeping the wrestler in the air up. Also, little rule of thumb, if you're willing to throw someone onto the ground, you should be willing to get thrown onto the ground, just to see what it feels like.
That would definitely felt worse.
We're taking all these bumps and doing all this stuff, and we pop up like it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to be said, like every single one of these hurts. We'll get real close, we're gonna go 1, 2, and then hook for the third. There we go. And then up as high as we can. Now, all you're gonna do, when you go to the other side of his head, you put him straight down in front of you. His head should be right in the middle of your legs, and his feet should be straight ahead. That's it. Nicely done.
Already after doing this just a few times, I've started to brainstorm on how I'm actually going to make this work. Because odds are, this is going to be a tough one to actually make happen. But I would say the body slam wraps up the grappling portion. But that's the thing. These are all just martial arts techniques. If you don't understand that, here's like a brief history on pro wrestling. Humans have wrestled, I don't know, forever. But what eventually started happening is these people started wrestling for other people to watch. And the guy who asked these guys to fight, and then these guys paid them, eventually they realized like, oh, like these people like it and they show up more. They're happy when the people that they like win. But sometimes the guy who you like most kinda sucks. It's like my favorite movie of the 3 ninja movies is High Noon at Mega Mountain. Funny enough, actually, it's got the Hulkster in it.
Hulk Hogan, teamwork!
But it's the worst one, objectively. So this guy, boss man, we'll give him a little mustache so you know he's in charge. They said, hey, this guy that he likes, why don't we get him to win? And this was like really under the table, discreet. None of these people knew about it at first, but then eventually over time, the pure wrestling community and this wrestling community were like, oh, we're not doing the same thing, are we? But this form of deciding who wins the matches, it was embraced. And then eventually, in order to please the crowds, make them extra happy, they start doing crazy stuff and people are flying all over the place. but it all roots from the same moves. It roots from the same wrestling. It's a show, it's a play about fighting. So all the moves are the same, they're just bigger. So some of these could work, but it's going to be hard to do them the exact same way.
Let's do the chops. I totally forgot about
Do some chops.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of have a cupped hand.
Okay.
Want to get them like right above the nipple.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a follow through, so it's kind of a.
Simple enough.
It's simple.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of those things where like you can't fake it.
Yeah.
You just got to bring it.
I can definitely make that work.
Time for your initiation.
Yeah.
The old right hand. Knife edge. All right.
Okay.
Start off.
Wait. Sorry.
Hold on. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
It's gonna be a lot harder than that. But.
Yeah. Okay. I figured as much. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, whoever I'm sparring is gonna be awfully lucky that I have gloves on. Because that feels like a guy slapping your chest, which is not fun. After that, we moved on to the shoulder bump and the clothesline, both of which hurt. If you haven't recognized the pattern yet of things hurting, you should by now. But also, both of these techniques are just about running at your opponent fast. And I might not be fast, but I can at least run at my opponent. We also touched on this kick, the inseguri. That's easy enough, I've done that my whole life. Lastly, for the strikes, though, we move on to something that is probably my favorite in pro wrestling moves.
Two different ways you can go into a drop kick. I can either stop here and come up with both feet, or I can post here, pop this one into the sky, and then I can pull my left leg up to join it. I'm aiming both feet right there. Now, once you get great at it, both feet up there.
Weirdly enough, this move is moderately sentimental to me. It takes me back to a time that I would drop kick my sisters on the trampoline. And I don't think there's ever a time I was happier than when I was drop kicking my sisters. But now I get to do it inside of a ring and just make it look cool.
That was pretty good. Yeah. That was pretty good.
I didn't do that, I smashed my nuts.
I can see you smash some stuff on the way
I
down.
just went groin first into
Yeah.
the ground. Did it look okay?
Yeah, not bad.
I'll take not bad. To be honest, it doesn't have to be pretty to work. We then wrapped up our session with submissions.
For the crab, joint to joint to joint for more fulcrum, right? Get as low as we can.
The knee fits.
Yep. And then I'm going to use your ankles under my armpits.
Oh boy.
If I pick you up like this,
Yeah.
you're on your shoulders, it's easy for me to turn you. Stepping over. The big thing is landing a squat.
This hurts worse than you think. You look at these WWE submissions and you're like, that can't be that. No, that sucks.
If you want to do sharpshooter, right over right, I'm going to shake you loose, over, and now I'm going to pick you up again, and I'm going to turn, proud chest.
Which finishes the list of these moves that I'm going to be trying out today. But that's not entirely true. I may or may not have added some of my own without any adult supervision, some that might be a little bit more risky. But it's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. I'm going to handle myself like a professional. Nobody's going to get hurt. And yeah, you can trust me. I wouldn't trust that little idiot as far as I could throw him. Now listen here and listen good. Tonight, in approximately 30 seconds of this video, I'm gonna show the world there's nothing you can mess with when it comes to professional wrestling. All these jiu-jitsu nerds talking about how professional wrestling is fake. Well, guess what, brother? You're the one who taps, not me. I'm gonna pick you up from your little guard pull. I'm gonna set you over top of my shoulders, and I'm gonna hit you with the meanest pile driver that's been seen this side of the Mississippi. Every single one of these moves is gonna be thrown on top of your jiu-jitsu and your Muay Thai head. And as much as I'm gonna enjoy it for my own satisfaction, there's not a person who's gonna love it more than the fans that are sitting there watching this. Like, I guess on the other side of the screen. But that's enough talking. I'm gonna rustle up the meanest white belts in jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai that I can possibly find, and I'm gonna make them feel the pain of professional wrestling. Cue my intro music. We're gonna start off in jiu-jitsu, and I am a white belt, so we'll start off in a white belt class. While technically I've already had a mock-up wrestling match, it actually went really well. This is the video here. This is the thumbnail. This is my first time using these techniques against people who don't know what I'm up to. I started off by trying to get this Boston Crab. Heck, I even called a spot for it.
Like on my electric button?
He didn't listen. Any grips that he could get with the gi kind of nullified any movement of him turning up and over. And even once I got him there, I wasn't getting much done. So I kind of aborted and went into something different. He came in and I went for a spine buster, which worked really well. Takedown number 1, complete. From there, he tried a triangle, in which I remembered, oh yeah, I'm big, so I picked him up.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm trying to think of how I can do this safely. Being big turns out really helps. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have as much of a size advantage over the next couple of people. So I start off with the very basic headlock that I was taught early on. From there, I tried to move into a sharpshooter, but the same issue that I had with the Boston Crab, I have with the sharpshooter. It's just too tangled up and it got me taken down. But once I was down there, I was able to use that exact same headlock takedown. I then finished around with a failed spine buster. In round 3, I started off with the RKO. In both this one and the next one, I really emphasized the hip toss into a flying drop. In this case, the elbow drop. In the next case, the frog splash. Later on in the third match, I actually used the exact same setup that I thought would work from side control, lifting up and then throwing into the body slam. Once again, it's just be big, guys. Then I made the mistake of trying the sharpshooter again. Once again, got taken down from the sharpshooter. Now, I'm not saying the sharpshooter's not possible. I think Jiu-Jitsu teaches you a lot of neutralization of submissions early on, but like a true heel, on 2 separate occasions, I waited for the bell to ring, and then landed my finishing techniques.
I knew it! I knew it!
You've done a fair amount of competing, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
When I was a white belt and didn't know what I was doing, I was a big wrestling fan growing up.
Nice.
Had back mount, and he went to push up, and I thought this looks similar to a camel clutch.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I grabbed his arms, put him over my knees, did the whole camel clutch deal. He tapped out, but just kind of sitting like this. And
Yeah.
So it was a good time. That was back in the day. Did you get a tombstone pile driver? I think I saw that.
Yes. Once they're up there, it's easy to maneuver them because nobody knows what to do up there. I don't know what to do if somebody throws me over top of their shoulders. And what makes total sense is that a lot of the top people you'll see in wrestling are also like really well versed in martial arts. Whether it's like capoeira or MMA or jiu-jitsu or Olympic wrestling. It just makes sense that having a competitive background would lead to techniques that look really good. But now it's time to put my striking to the test. In Muay Thai, I would definitely classify myself more of a striker than I would a grappler. We started off really trying to get this big committed lockup, which typically scared people off because it's a big movement, but when I could land it, I was able to get underneath and hit this rock bottom. I may have failed to drop kick afterwards, but so far we have proof that doing stuff a little different works. I think the striking is definitely the biggest difference when it comes to pro wrestling and any kickboxing-based martial art. Things in kickboxing move so much faster and it's hard to do a lot of storytelling in that format. But overall, I think all these strikes still work. It's just, they take a lot more work to make them work. You know? This guy right here has a mean clinch and honestly is much more stable than I would have guessed. But hanging out for too long leads you to get RKO'd. With a couple different failed attempts though, I need to get back to what I was good at, and that's running at people with my shoulder and side kicks. Most of these techniques, in order to land them, you have to kind of make somebody think this big boisterous thing that you're doing is not really threatening. And then you hit them with it, and then it's threatening again, so you have to kind of start over.
No side kick. No side kick.
Like the drop kick's a great example. I have to make him think that me jumping in the air isn't scary so he doesn't run away. But then as soon as I land it, it's scary again and he's gonna keep running away because he can see it coming. This last round is by far my favorite because Mike trusts me a bit more so he doesn't run away from as much stuff, which allowed me to land the best stuff of the night. Overall, every one of the moves felt like it should work. Some of them just took way too long to get there, and because of that, didn't work. But it was very obvious that they're rooted in moves that are martial arts techniques. The only difference is they're supposed to be seen. And if that's the case, and the crowd sees it, that's awesome. But your opponent also probably sees it, which becomes a problem when you're trying to hit them. So overall, yes, I can make them work in real life.
You know, a lot of like more conventional sports or martial arts or whatever kind of dump on pro wrestling, right?
Yeah, they do.
Obviously, like I have nothing but the utmost respect for martial arts. Like I've done kickboxing, BJJ, and stuff for years.
Yeah.
You know, I train with those guys in Japan all the time. It's like, well, we work just as hard as they do.
100%.
We just do different things, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just a different world.
If you want a pair of my gloves, they're down below. You can get 10% off. And I've got a much longer version of all of the stuff that Jake and Jack were teaching me. It's in my members page. So anytime I make a video like this, I've got a short version of what they teach me for you little content goblins. And then I've also got a much longer version, which I don't really cut anything. And you can see what they're telling me start to finish. If it's $2.99 a month, it's the yellow belt tier. You can find it linked down below. Thanks for watching.